What's up everyone, Cubeologist here again, and today I've got a review of the GansIII 57. Alright, so let's take a look at this cube. I bought this probably a week or two ago from the Cubicle. You can see an unboxing of that if you click right here. But I've really enjoyed using this cube. It wasn't overly expensive or anything. It was about the typical $15 or $16 of most cubes. And when I first got it, it felt amazing. Now, I do have the stickerless version that I had prior to this, and I actually got a personal best with this cube. I got a 15.7. It's only down a couple tenths of a second, but still I was really impressed, and that's what prompted me to buy this one. Now, this cube's amazing, but for this review, we're just going to take a look at the stickered one. So I got the cube, I took it apart, I'd made sure all the tensions were even, and then I re-stickered it and lubed it. Now, all I used as far as lube goes is just a tiny bit of Weight 2 and Marlube. That made the cube feel really good, and I did that after I'd already done about 100 solves just to make sure that everything was well broken in before I lubed it. But I did have a problem with the cube right out of the box. If you can see right there, not necessarily the ridges, but the line that goes from the corner straight down, there's a kind of a lip on this puzzle right there when you first get it. And whenever I would turn it, it would catch on that same lip right here on this edge piece. So it happened almost on every side. Sometimes when you would turn it, even if the cube was properly aligned, it would catch right there and you'd have to force it before it snapped on. So I just took a file and filed down all the corners there, and on the middle of the edge pieces, on the corner of the edge pieces as well, and that took care of that. But it was a little more work than I wanted to do, and it shouldn't have to happen. If it is properly molded and everything's done right, I feel like that's a problem that they could easily take care of. I also want to talk about the core of this cube. As you guys know, this is the octopus core, the plastic core that doesn't use any screws or anything. It's just a piece of plastic that you can screw nuts down onto, and that's how you tension the cube. So taking a look at it here, the design they used to use was a little bit more flimsy, but let me get this apart and I'll show you how they've reinforced it. So the way they've redesigned this core is by taking the 3 rods that they used to have that connect to each other and adding these wings that reinforce it. So it's a little bit sturdier plastic, and they've reinforced each section with these little supports right here. It actually gives the cube a little bit more stable feel than what it had before, but I'm still not totally pleased with the stability of this puzzle. So taking a look at some positives with this puzzle, popping is not an issue. I've done everything I can in order to try to get it to pop, and even though it does deform quite a bit, it does not pop. I think this puzzle would break before it popped on correct tensions, and that's a really good sign that it's a good design. Now, as far as stability, like I was saying, the new core actually makes it feel a little more stable than the original core did in these puzzles, but I don't think it's gone far enough to make it stable enough. As you can see, it really deforms, especially if you're someone who has a heavy turning style. If you go to turn the puzzle with a little bit misaligned, you can see it works, but everything just feels like it wants to move a little too much. And that's one of the main downfalls to this puzzle for me. It creates some strange lockups that I can't really recreate. I actually sat here for about 3 or 4 minutes trying to get one of the lockups that I get on this puzzle while I'm solving, and I couldn't do it. So I don't know if a center slice is misaligned. I know that causes a little bit of a lock. So the M and the H perm's kind of strange to do on this puzzle, for me at least. Also, another problem that I've seen is when you're doing like the sexy move, something like that, if you go up and you don't have that accurate of turning, so if you do an R and you try to do that U move before you've actually gone over this center piece here, it will actually completely lock up. No matter how hard I force it right there without pushing up a little bit, it doesn't do anything. So I catch myself if if I've just started cubing or I'm not really warmed up and I'm not turning that accurately, I do that sometimes when I'm trying to do sexy move. So I'll mess up and then it throws off my whole rhythm, and I sometimes have to restart the alg, or I just have completely messed up the cube, but maybe that's just a problem that I have. I know that I'm not the best cuber, but I consider myself at least intermediate. And to finish this video off on a positive note, this is a really good cube. I don't want to put this cube down to the point where you guys think you shouldn't get it. It's really airy, so if you have a light turning style and you don't like to exert much force when you turn a layer, this is definitely a good puzzle for you because the turning is almost effortless. You really don't have to put any effort at all into turning the puzzle, and you can go really fast with this puzzle. I actually slowed it down a little bit with lube because it was overshooting on me. It's a super fast puzzle and I really enjoy it. As you know, I got really good times with this puzzle, and I was actually considering making this puzzle my main for a little while, but the longer I used it, the more I found the flaws and the attributes of this puzzle that I didn't really like, and I have to go back to my Oolong V1 over and over. I've went back to it 3 times now. So even though this is a really good puzzle, I'll stick with my Oolong V1, but I would definitely recommend you guys trying this out, especially if you like loose puzzles and puzzles that are a little bit light and airy, even though it may be a little bit, I don't know what the word would be, but like kind of clacky, kind of like the CX3. Good design, but it's kind of loud and it feels like it's snapping back into place all the time, but it's still a really good puzzle. But that's been my review of the GansIII 357. I really hope you guys enjoyed this, and let me know what you think. Do you own this puzzle? Is it your main? Have you tried it out for any extended amount of time? But I really appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you soon, guys. Bye.